matchup when Tua, speaking of Florida, when Tua and the 2-5 Dolphins head to Buffalo to take on the 6-2 Bills. Miami could really change their fortune spells with a win. Their last win in Buffalo came on Christmas Eve in 2016. So I'm coming to our quarterback first. Cam, tell me this. What's on the line for Tua in Miami?
Well, they're a different team with Tua.
Absolutely.
You see it. The fans know it. The film sticks out. But the thing that I'm looking at versus the Bills team is they lack meaningful wins. When I look at the teams that they've beat, the Seahawks are the only team that are 500 on top of Cardinals, who are 500 too. The Titans, losing record.
Yep.
Jets, losing record. Jags, as well as the Dolphins. Now, you have 2 losses versus contenders, the Texans and the Ravens, and what do? So, for me, I'm not also sold on the Bills and Josh Allen, and I granted, I get it. You don't get to choose who you play. You just beat who you play.
Yeah.
But that just says a lot when you've played the competition that you're going to see in January, right? And how do you fold to that? But with Tua, I mean, it's night and day what that team plays like.
Absolutely, and you need the Bills to see a quality win. That's
fair.
But
we also got to remember the night Tua was injured, the Buffalo Bills had essentially already ended that game against the Miami Dolphins. James Cook played phenomenally that night. We saw a game that Josh Allen barely had to throw the football, and they were able to dominate over the Miami Dolphins. And one of these teams has improved dramatically. Keon Coleman starting to look like the top draft pick that he was, being drafted early in the second round. 125 yards 2 weeks ago, the one-hand catch in the end zone last week over Reek Woolen. And Josh Allen is playing like an MVP candidate, even though he's finally gotten that interception. We're seeing him understand where to distribute this football and how and where do his players feel most comfortable getting it. And now you've added a running back in the backfield during James Cook's absence, so you've seen they now have a 1-2 punch. And it's a defense that we've watched Sean McDermott operate extremely well against Tua Tagovailoa with pressures, with simulated pressures, having eyes on the quarterback, with vision to break, so it doesn't give Tua that immediate read knowing he can beat man-to-man. And so I'm looking at this Bills team and saying, yes, they don't have those quality wins on their schedules that you like to see, but that doesn't mean that they aren't a better team than the Miami Dolphins and the team that I expect to win this weekend.
Stephen A?
I am not concerned about the Bills in this game at all. Josh Allen is 12-2 against the Dolphins in his career. 42 touchdowns, just 13 turnovers. This brother has his way with them. McDermott, as you just pointed out, RC, got the 2 high safeties out there. What does he do? He takes away the deep game, okay? What does he do? He makes Tua beat you methodically, which he knows Tua, in all likelihood, is not going to be able to do. How do we know this? In the 8 career starts that Tua has gone up against the Buffalo Bills and Sean McDermott, you're talking about 7 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. The Bills are just a nightmare for him. And then we got to take this to an elevated level of seriousness. When Tua suffered that concussion that knocked him out this year, that was against the Buffalo Bills. Refresh my memory, RC. Is it not true that in the postgame, the players said they were screaming at him, get down, get down?
Deion Dawkins.
Now, think about this. Super Bowl champion, league MVP. Y'all played this game. I did it, okay? The opponent is screaming for you to get down. Think about how bad that is. Think about how fragile they believe he is. And so when you couple that with McDermott's defensive strategy, making you methodically and incrementally beat him, basically what they're doing is giving them more bites at the proverbial apple that is Tua Tagovailoa. More chances to get at him and what have you. Unless you're going to run the football all day, you're going to drop back to pass and you're getting rid of the football inside of 2 seconds, what you going to do? All of these things come into play when you think about Tua, particularly against this team. I don't like the matchup for the Dolphins one bit at this particular moment in time. I don't like the fact that the game is in Buffalo. I think they're in a world of trouble. I just hope he gets out of there, and I hope they get out there safe and sound. But I'll be damned if I believe it's not going to be with a loss.
Cam?
I'm going with the Dolphins. Just from what I've seen on film. Last week was a little special because they had that it to them. But they just lost the game. Kyler Murray had a late charge.
Marvin Harrison Jr. was amazing.
Goodness, he's coming into his own.
McBride,
That's another discussion. But when I look at Miami Dolphins as a whole, it's all predicated on one individual.
Yeah.
And that's Tua Tagovailoa. He has too much power, but he has the power that a franchise quarterback should have. But he's just not healthy. When I look at when I just analyze the whole thing, you realize he's just a hit away. And when you think about the hits, me playing the game how I played, they would always say, get down, don't take crazy hits. I got injured chasing the interception.
Right.
They get hit in the pocket, which they tell you to stay in the pocket. When you see what Tua's injuries had consisted of, this last one, he was running so he could protect himself, and then it just locks up. Another one happened when he was in the pocket getting sacked. So my greatest fear for that is Tua has the power like he should have been a franchise quarterback, and that is what's at risk the most.
Yeah, but I mean,
guys,
that's part
you're
of it.
concerned about his
The
health.
other piece of this is, too, like with Stephen A. mentioning Deion Dawkins saying he wanted Tua to get down. We saw the scramble that they just showed on the screen where he slid and the whole Hard Rock Arena erupted.
Yeah.
But it's, can Tua go get the extra yard? Can Tua hold on to the football for one extra second to give Tyreek an opportunity to get open? Because you know, Cam, those yards and those seconds are all important for quarterbacks.
For sure.
Y'all both know this. Y'all both know this better than most. Anybody in the sport of football can get hurt any given Sunday. We get that part.